getting so much faster and so much thicker and even darker, and it was crazy. And it started to affect my guys. And welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a little bit different than the ones that I've done so far, in that it's not a DIY of any sort. It's more of a talking video. And so I wanted to share, to make a video on this subject because it's one that I've dealt with. And it's a video that I wish would have existed when I first started dealing with this in my early teens, just because it can kind of feel lonely. It can kind of make you feel isolated in that maybe you're going through this by yourself. So I would have liked to see different women from different walks of life talking about this, just to kind of aid me as I went through this process. And so that's kind of what I wanted to do, and I can't think of a better time to do it than, you know, during Women's Month. Hopefully it's still Women's Month when this video goes out. So because, you know, we're celebrating women of different backgrounds and ethnicities and all these things, so I wanted to talk about this issue that actually affects a lot of women. So I kind of wanted to share some background information into what can actually cause this. It's things that I've learned in dealing with this condition, but it's also things that I kind of just looked up on the internet. But I also wanted to put out a disclaimer that I'm not saying that if you're dealing with this, you necessarily have to deal with it the way that I have. I'm really just sharing my story. Some people have this and they've decided that they're just gonna live with it, and if that's what you want to do, then absolutely, like, I commend you for it, go for it. Deal with this how you feel that you best want to deal with it. So just a disclaimer that I'm not saying that you have to do what I did. So the condition that can cause this excessive growth of hair in females is called keratism. And so everyone has facial hair, man and women alike, but usually for women it's a lot lighter and it's more like a peach fuzz. And so, but in keratism you get thicker, darker hairs, and that's kind of how it becomes an issue for some people. And so this has a lot to do with hormones. It is basically a whole hormonal imbalance. It's an excess production of androgens in women, so including testosterone, and that kind of can cause this male pattern growth hair in females. And so there are different conditions that can cause this. One of them, a big one, being PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I know some people who actually found out that they had PCOS because they were growing this facial hair. And there are other adrenal conditions that can cause this, and also medication, and just anything that kind of changes your hormones, so even pregnancy. And I actually dealt with both medication and pregnancy kind of spiking this, but I'll talk about that some more as the video goes on. And so so there are genuine issues or medical conditions that cause this to happen in people. So I think a first step to anyone who's dealing with this is to actually go and talk to a medical professional and find out what it could be that is causing this to happen in your own body. Because, you know, you can spend your time getting rid of the hair and, you know, shaving it or doing whatever, and not actually dealing with what the root cause is. So I think a really good first step is doing that. I had spoken to doctors in the past, and when I finally decided to get laser hair removal, the technician was actually one person that was really insightful and shared a lot of some background stuff into what could cause this in people. So I started dealing with growing excessive hair on my face when I was 13. And I know now that it had to do with the fact that I was going through puberty. And this is what my laser hair removal technician told me, is that, you know, when people are going through puberty, it's common that they start to get more facial hair than they had prior. And so if you leave that hair alone, it can actually just go away. Like, it'll just go away eventually on its own. But what most people do is that they start, you know, shaving or doing whatever, and that causes you to now have a friend for life, which is how she put it. So you now have this reoccurring issue because you wanted to, you know, get rid of this hair on your face. And that was exactly what happened with me. I started getting this hair on my face, and I think I actually noticed it because someone felt the need to point it out. I think someone said something along the lines of, "Oh my gosh, like, are you growing a beard?" And so, at 13, like, it was an awkward enough age without me having to deal with the fact that I was growing a beard. And so I started shaving it. And what that did is that it caused me to now start to have a bunch of, you know, bumps and ingrown hairs and hyperpigmentation on my chin, which actually brought more attention to my chin than I wanted. And even more people started noticing and making little, you know, comments here and there. And that caused me to start to feel some type of way, you know, because I was having all these things said to me or about me. And that really affected my confidence. Like, it really affected my confidence. I started to feel like maybe there was something wrong with me. Like, why was I growing this beard? And so that was kind of, you know, that situation. And I started shaving, and I tried different things. You know, I shaved, I epilated, I tweezed, I even buffed. Like, I don't know if you guys remember these buffer pads that used to be all the rave at one point. It was like this kind of like a low grade sandpaper type of material on this pink pad, and you would kind of like wipe it on your face in one direction and then in another direction, and then it would get rid of the hairs. And I think that actually worked for me for a little while, but eventually with everything, I would end up getting bumps and stuff. But, you know, time went on, and I was dealing with this in different ways, and I eventually got to the point where it didn't affect my confidence that much anymore. I kind of had more of a handle on it. And so I actually like to joke that, you know, I was older and I had now found other things to beat myself up about. So that wasn't so much of an issue anymore. And it's a joke, but I mean, there's probably a bit of truth to that. And so yeah, it wasn't that much of an issue for me anymore, although once in a while people would make comments, and then that would kind of make me feel bad. But I had a handle on it, so I was good to go. So then fast forward to August of 2015, I got married, and a little while before getting married, I had gone on birth control, and this is kind of where that medication thing happened, where now it was going crazy again. Like, I didn't have a handle on it because it was growing so much faster and so much thicker and even darker, and it was crazy. And it started to affect my confidence again. I literally got to a place where I was literally walking around with my head down, and I didn't want anyone to even, like, anyone's eyes to even graze my chin, just because I was like, no, like, this is not good. And so I was kind of back in that bad place. And so I made a decision. I was like, you know what, I'm going to deal with this in a major way now. Like, I'm gonna really deal with this. And so I started looking into laser hair removal again, because I had first looked into it in my early teens when I started going through it, but all the stories that I would see on Black people getting laser hair removal was that they would end up getting burnt. And what I found out is that back then, you know, the lasers are kind of made to go over the skin and look for those dark pigmented areas, and that's how it knows to kind of laser those hairs off. But on dark skin, it would just end up burning people's skin. And so at the time, I obviously decided that wasn't a route that I wanted to go. But then when I started looking into it again in 2015, I saw that, you know, things had actually changed in the industry, and they now had lasers that could cater to darker skin. And so I found this place here in Calgary, and it's called Champion Laser. And so I went there, and I had my initial, you know, consultation with the lady, and it was really good. She was super knowledgeable. She had a background in nursing, so she, you know, she really knew her stuff, and she even had pictures of Black people whose skin she had worked on, and so she made me feel really comfortable. And so that's, if you're looking to do laser hair removal, I would definitely say do your research and shop around. Like, find a place that makes you feel comfortable. You don't want to, like, cheap out and go to some, you know, some random place that, you know, might end up giving you issues in the long run. So definitely look into it and do your research and look up reviews and all that good stuff. And so yeah, I found this place, Champion Laser. I had my first session, and I really liked it. Like, you know, it was a little bit painful, but like very tolerable pain. Like, she described it as an elastic, like pulling an elastic and snapping it on your skin, and that's very much what it felt like. And so pain level wasn't too bad, you know, it's tolerable, and I really liked the results. After I had that session, I noticed that even my hyperpigmentation was different. Like, it just wasn't as dark anymore, and also I like the amount of time before I saw hair again was a very long time. So by the time I was supposed to go in for my second session, I actually found out that I was pregnant. And so I told them that, and they will not do laser hair removal on a pregnant woman. And at least not this place. I don't know if every place does that. And the reason that they won't do it is because, you know, there are complications that happen in pregnancy, and they wouldn't want someone to think that their complications were due to the fact that they were getting these laser removal sessions. And so, yeah, by the time I was supposed to get it, I was pregnant, so they couldn't work on me, and they were like, okay, you'll have to come back in once you've had the baby. And so I had my baby the following June, and she's now 9 months, so I essentially could have gone back a while ago, but I was just, you know, busy being a mom and stuff, so I haven't gone back yet. But I'm about to start up my sessions again, so this is why I also wanted to make this video in this time frame while I'm still kind of dealing with this, and then so I can document my journey with laser hair removal moving forward. So that's pretty much it for what I wanted to share for this video. If you're going through this, don't feel like you're alone. Like, I'm right there with you. I have this issue, and I'm like, it shouldn't affect your life. Like, I live a normal life. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I also want to take a moment to thank my subscribers, because I think I'm now at 115, which I know isn't like huge, you know, when you're looking at other channels and stuff, but I'm really happy that my channel is growing. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I urge you to do so. Subscribe, like this video, share, and, you know, comment below. Share kind of your experience with this, and yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you. Until next time.